We're in a game of League, and I'm about to show you how to win your games as Ziggs. What is up, guys? My name is MipZ, and welcome back to yet another League of Legends video. So today we're playing none other than a champion that I guess you can say he's a little bit explosive, or he at least likes to play with them. And that is, of course, Ziggs. And we're actually not playing him in his usual lane, which most people play him in mid lane. We're actually playing him in the bot lane as an ADC. The thing is that even though we're of course not building AD items on him, then I'm still going to refer to him as an ADC in this thing because yeah, it's kind of the role that we're gonna fill, but in a way you could call him an APC. The thing is that this champion actually works extremely well in the bot lane, and that's for several reasons. I'll explain why that is, but this is actually a really good champion for climbing, and even high elo players do use him in the bot lane every now and then. So yeah, let's kind of just get into this one. For those of you who are new in here, then what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play Ziggs in the early, mid, and late game as an ADC and kind of break down the whole thing. I'm going to be using this game as a live example to kind of let you guys in on my train of thought, and hopefully you'll be able to learn a lot and know how you're supposed to deal with this guy or how you're supposed to play it. So yeah, if you are new in here, make sure to go down below, click that subscribe button, join into our awesome community. And also, if you do find the video helpful or entertaining or something, I would greatly appreciate if you could click that like button for me for the YouTube algorithm. And lastly, if you want to hang out with me live, go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. Anyway, as we move into lane, we're gonna first of all talk a little bit about what kind of thing this is. What kind of thing Ziggs is, why you want to pick him in lane, and why he is so good. The thing is that Ziggs actually, yeah, he's a pretty good early game champ overall because of his ability to poke people. He's actually especially good against ADCs, which is interesting, especially in laning phase. Ziggs doesn't really have that many counters in the bot lane, and the few that he does have is mostly gonna have trouble with you because they're probably not used to playing against you. So even lanes that or comps that should counter you pretty often don't, just for this reason. So Ziggs is an extremely good early game champ after level 3. We'll talk more about specifically why that is and why you can see I'm playing extremely defensive right now. We'll talk much more about this. It is not as important when you're playing lower rated than probably diamond, less than diamond. You're probably not gonna have to do this, but I'll talk more about that as we kind of break down the early game and what you want to be doing there. All right, so Ziggs has absolutely insane poke. He counters most ADCs in laning phase because it's really obnoxious to play against him. He's extremely good at damaging them down and just putting them, like, basically putting them on the wrong foot. Apart from this, he's super tilting to play against. The number of times where I have snowballed the bot lane and completely and utterly tilted the enemy ADC is countless, and to the point where they start flaming their teammates or they just go AFK or yeah, surrender, because it's really obnoxious playing against, and it becomes really annoying for the opponent. So yeah, this is some of the bigger parts of why we're playing him. The cool thing about him is also that he scales really well through all phases of the game, meaning it's not like we're just picking him only for the early game. He actually does really well through the entire game or the entire match. What we do want to keep in mind is also that Ziggs is one of the best siegers in the game. And when I say a sieger, what I refer to is their ability to take down turrets. And the reason why he is this is because his passive ability scales with AP, that then allows him to deal more damage to turrets with his basic attacks, making him actually literally shred them late game even without a Lich Bane. Alright, so that's some of that stuff. And also he has his W that can of course execute turrets, which is absolutely ridiculous. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about the how to actually play the early game and what we want to be doing. So in the early game, what we're gonna kind of be dealing with now is that we want to start to poke down these guys as much as possible. And the way we do this, there we go. This guy has no way out. I'm gonna be a little bit defensive. It's gonna go to the other side. Very nice. We have... Alright. We're not gonna be able to kill this guy. I probably should have... I could have played that better, so we would also have gotten Master Yi, by the way. For sure. Alright. So as you guys can see, we can be quite obnoxious. The thing is with Ziggs is he's not the greatest all-in champ. This is not why we're picking him. We're picking him to poke down our opponent. So the fight we just had there was kind of more like because they literally just messed up really hard that made that fight kind of easy for us. Despite that, things would probably eventually turn to that point anyway, where we would just poke them down and either force them out of lane or kill them, which is really cool. Ziggs works well together with either stuff that can CC for him or preferably other stuff that can also poke. Something like a Brand is actually really good. A Velkas can also be fun. You can play a lot of these kind of comms. Even Serath, like Serath is also obnoxious together with him. And you guys can just poke down the enemy and kind of like completely and utterly tilt their ADC. Because there's nothing more annoying than every time he goes in for CS, you poke them. And this is what we want to be doing on Ziggs actually. We want to start, and I'll do this now to kind of show you guys. We'll start to poke these guys every time they go in for any kind of CS. Then we're going to fire off our Q, and we're actually not going to be aiming it directly at them. We're going to be aiming it at the minions instead. And the reason why we do this... Oh, I don't know if I can save this. Nope. All right. The reason why we do this is quite simply that when we aim it at the minions, then we can actually make it explode on them. So you can see right here on them, if he goes a little closer, then every time he goes in for a last hit, we can actually just go ahead, we can hit the poke right on them. All right, so I can block that guy off. I'm going to go for their ADC if possible here. I highly doubt we'll be able to get him, but... All right, I could have played this better. But yeah, as I've told you guys, this is not to show you perfect gameplay. I will just make sure that we do get fed throughout the game so I can show you guys like the full potential of the champ. But even with me making mistakes, you can see that we're actually having like a lot of control in lane, despite some difficulties here. Okay, so the thing is, we have our entire team. Gonna knock that one away. We have our team kind of like roaming weirdly around right now. All right. So in the laning phase, what we want to be doing is that as much as possible, we want to try and poke the opponent, the ADC. And the way we do it is simply by aiming at the minions most of the time. Apart from this, what we want to be thinking about is that the big thing about learning with Ziggs is learning the when you poke. And what I mean with this is quite simply that you want to go ahead and throw your ability onto or to poke them whenever they go in for a last hit on a minion, because this is actually where it just becomes free. Especially with cannon minions, it's extremely easy for you to just go ahead and whoop. I was very close. He just rocket jumped it out there. That was very, very close. We almost had it. But basically, you want to try and poke every time they go in for CS, especially cannon minions make it really easy. Then you have two options: throwing it directly at them, which generally speaking is not ideal because it does make it more difficult for you to hit it. Instead, aiming it at like the back minions or minions that are close to your target makes it a lot easier. All right, so right here, I'm just going to go ahead. We're just going to do some poking. You can see just how obnoxious we are. Like, it is so difficult for them to deal with. And apart from this, we're going to slowly start to siege their turret as well. And at this point, they're kind of out of sync, right? Like, as they come down here, they're in a lot. Like, there's no way they can actually do that much down here right now. And we can just go for a really quick back and TP back in whenever we need to. So I'm just going to like kind of play very offensive with my mana now because I know I'm going for a back very soon. All right. But yeah, as you can see, we're just trying to poke them down. We'll keep applying pressure. And with Ziggs, you are really good sieger. You're really good at taking down turrets. So we actually want to try and get these armor playings. We do have to stay very much aware of where their jungler is when we're doing this. So only push when you know that you're somewhat safe. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to completely just push this in so we can go for a back. There we go. And we'll get that one. There we go. All right, so we'll back off. Okay, we will take an armor plating. We can do this because they're actually already back. This is what I mean with Ziggs. You can put on so much pressure that even like here, we're just like, they're just forced to back off half of the time, which is really, really nice. And we keep poking them down. We're pretty far ahead in farm. We're starting to kind of snowball ahead in farm as well. So we are slowly but surely going to get really far ahead of them. So as we do this, we're probably going to be considering whether or not we should use our TP back to lane. I don't think we will because there's not really that much point in it. But yeah, here for the early game, it's quite simple actually. Level 1, you want to go for your Q. Level 2, you want to go for your W. So you have the escape tool. You also have the tool for, because at level, generally speaking with Ziggs, you don't want to be going for the level 2 power spike. And the reason why you don't want to do this is that most ADCs are stronger than you till level 3. And you're not playing for all-in engages. So, like, let those go at the very beginning. Unless your opponent gives you that farm for free, then just let it go. You can sing the Frozen song at the same time if you feel like it. And just be like, let it go. That's fine. Let that farm go for the first... until level 2. Let them push to you instead. Just stay safe. If they let you get it for free without taking... what I mean with letting you get it for free, it's just that as long as they don't harass you for it, if you can hit the farm using your Q and get that last hit, then that's fine. There we go. And we're out of there. And this is what I mean with Ziggs. Like, you have... it's so easy to get away. It's so easy. And it's so freaking good. All right, so we know this guy doesn't have his ult now. I can... oh, okay. Well, our Brand did a good job. Gonna be honest, he did really well. But he also did already have 2 kills from our previous engages. That's really, really nice. And it doesn't matter too much that the gold is in him because, yeah, he does a ton of damage too. Again, we're just gonna kind of waddle up here and see if we can start sieging this turret. Because getting turret is just as good as kills in a way, because we get these armor platings that are just going to snowball pretty much the same way. So we just keep pushing and we keep putting pressure on them, getting this down. And while he's trying to farm under turret... right here, I got to be a little careful. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good at all. Yeah, I think we'll just run. I really don't want to be a part of that Cassidin getting a double here. We're just going to back off. We can TP directly back down there, so that's perfect. Only thing that's a little annoying is we're very close to finishing our Mythic, which we won't be able to here. So instead, we'll just kind of have to build whatever we can. So we'll TP back down real quick. Make these guys back off. Get our farm. There we go. And we'll go back. All right. So for the laning phase, I feel like things are actually... it's very simple on Ziggs. Oh, wow. Really? You're still here, dude. It's very simple. Level 1, take Q. Level 2, take W. Level 3, generally speaking, just take Q again. Because you don't want to go for all ins. So you're better off just taking the extra damage. Unless you do get forced into all in, or you have a jungler coming down, then you don't want to be taking your E right away. It's simply not worth it. It's better for you to take the Q, get the extra damage and cooldown reduction on that one to start poking your opponents down. So, whoop, we're just going to back out of that one. You can just see the damage here is so good. So freaking good. Even though these guys were trying to surprise us, guess who ended up being surprised? It's just like, oh my god. Like, it never becomes old playing this jam. It's so fun, and there's a pretty high skill cap. The thing is, you don't even have to be that good at him to really do well. You really don't. All right, so there we go. We'll just kind of push this. I have a feeling that he could still be here. Okay, he's not. He's definitely not. The armor platings at this point are gone. If he's not here, we can actually get the first turret here. And this is simply because our pushing power, you can see right here, boom, finish it. That's going to be a turret. Very easy. That was first turret on 6. And what I want to do now then is we want to start rotating because we have all this pushing power hidden in us. But yeah, for the laning phase, poke your opponents as much as possible. It doesn't matter too much if you get kills or not, as long as you're really obnoxious and you basically kind of force them out of lane and start pushing this turret. You do of course need to be a little careful in terms of their junglers, so keep a good track on their jungler and mid laner such that you don't get caught. All right, so early game pretty simple. Poke them down, be an absolute annoying thing, and you can pretty much keep doing this for a really long time and they're gonna absolutely hate you. And that's kind of the early game. Generally speaking, you shouldn't be losing the early game. If you do, you can also farm under turret. He's not a difficult champ to farm under turret with either, or not super difficult. But generally speaking, you should be the one that's pushing. But be very careful with going under their turret unless you do know where their enemy, where the enemy jungler is. All right, so let's talk about what to actually do in the mid game. So the thing is that you actually have kind of two options when playing Ziggs. You have the general thing, which is rotating like a normal ADC to the mid lane, and then just kind of pushing there. That can be really good, definitely can. But if you have like an AD mid or something else, that maybe you have a mid laner that is actually best suited for staying mid, then you can still play side lanes on Ziggs. You're still actually, your split pushing potential is not terrible. Yes, you don't want to 1v1 people, but you're not completely bad at sieging stuff. So if you know where the entire enemy team is, then you going for a split push on Ziggs is not actually terrible. But generally speaking, you want to see if you can go mid lane and your mid laner go side lanes. If they don't go side lanes, then it is also fine and you can go side lane yourself. You have the option of helping from afar with your ult. Also do this throughout laning phase actually. Keep track of the mid laner or the jungler if you can help out using your ult or something along those lines, which is really cool. Like, I don't know how often I've done this where I literally just fire off my ult where somebody's recalling and they're 1 HP and you just kill them because they don't expect that ult to come in. So you can do a lot of cool stuff on this champion that people are just not expecting at all. So really keep this in mind. All right, so we're gonna be running back down here. Just gonna poke that guy a little bit, and we're gonna be a little careful. We do have vision on 2 people. I don't know where their jungler is, and this is the only one that scares me a little bit because, yeah, he's not the easiest one to deal with, but we can actually deal pretty well with MipZ because of our ease. All right, so we're gonna be backing off and buying our needlessly large rod, and we'll just run straight up. I think we'll run mid here. And the reason why I want to run mid is because at this point, I'm kind of looking at what are my options. This lane is already pushing up this way. So potentially I will have to go over here and break it if they freeze the lane. But there's not really anything I can do down here right now. So I might as well go in mid and be close to my team. And hopefully be able to do something here. I can see a fight breaking out. And we're actually going to try and see if I can get up there in time to help out. Okay, this guy's gonna jump over the edge anyway, so I'm not gonna be able to do anything about him. So we're gonna go up and we're gonna keep... Oh, we're gonna fire off our E. All right, yep, he did not like that at all. All right, so we actually got a lot of Kassadin's HP off because he literally just walked through our mines. Make sure that you think about the fact that you can also use your W to throw people into your mines, which is actually a really cool thing to do. The danger of doing this, however, is that of course whenever you do this, you don't have your W as a getaway, and your W is it is such a good peeling ability for yourself, and this is one of the reasons why Ziggs is such a safe champ even in laning phases, because he's actually not that easy to gank. If Ziggs is played on a player that knows what he's doing on Ziggs, then he knows that he can use his W to push people away, and as soon as the enemy jungler comes down here to try and gank, then what Ziggs can actually do is he can go ahead and he can put his mines where that champ is about to run. So let's say that give me a second here, we'll just clean this. Let's say that you're getting ganked from right here, then you can put your mines right in this corner before he runs through it, and he'll actually have to... Oh, he'll actually be slowed so freaking much that it just like there's no way that gank will work unless the rest of the team probably, or the support sets up some kind of CC that slows you down. Like, you have a lot of potential to actually keep people at bay, and at the same time, not only are you slowing them or pushing them back using your W, but you're dealing an absolute ridiculous amount of damage. And that's the thing, as we get into the mid to late game here, we are playing to deal a ton of damage. This is what we do. We sit in the back line, we throw bombs, we try and hit as many targets as possible. This is what we want to do as we get to mid to late game, is we want to group up around objectives. Ziggs is a really good objective player and a really good seeker. As soon as you see a play getting made, that's when you can go ahead and you can just push. Like, he's really, and his pushing power is really freaking good. Right here, I'm actually going to TP up here, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I just see a free turret. We're going to go ahead, take this free turret and inhibitor. There we go. And right after, I'm going to go up top because we have this insane pushing power. So right there, we're going to get that one. And we're probably going to get the other turret here as well. And you can just see how we're absolutely smashing these turrets super quickly. Going to pre-fire that one. There we go. And remember to use your W to execute the turrets. It's just such a good tool. And there's so many people that underestimate Ziggs pushing power. And yeah, this is one of the reasons why you can really use him to solo carry. I think for here, I'm actually going to go down bot. Not necessarily because we could probably play super aggressive and try to finish the game here. But I want a moment more to just kind of explain a few things. So first of all, I want to break down how team fighting works. So of course, as we talked about, you do have the options of doing kind of a split push. That split pushing is generally like, you want to try and avoid that. It's much better for you to just group with your team, because that's where Ziggs really exceeds. He's he deals so much damage, and if left untouched, you'll just sit and bomb the entire enemy team, and it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. In the team fights, stay as far back as possible. You want to play the back line together with your ADC, or not together with your mid laner, sorry. And whenever the enemy tries to go in for your mid laner or for you, then use your W and your E to hold them at bay. This is extremely good to do. Oh, this is probably not going to be easy. That was nice. There we go. You want to hold them at bay, and you want to do basically what we did here as well, using our abilities to kind of either keep them in place or to push them away from us so we're not in danger. This is big parts of playing Ziggs, and just sit in the background, bomb them, and make their life miserable. Do remember that it's easier throwing bombs directly at one target and AoEing the others that way than it is to just try and aim really far. So with Ziggs, generally speaking, go for whatever, either where you can hit the most target at once, or where you pretty securely can hit your abilities more or less every time. Try here again. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to sit in the back line. Don't forget to use autos, because auto attacks on this champ is absolutely freaking ridiculous. They're actually, you deal a lot of damage with them. So don't forget these. All right, there we go. So yeah, for the team fighting phase, you just want to hang back, sit there, throw your bombs, and bomb them down. You can use your ult, especially on key moments like Barons, Drakes, and other stuff. Throwing it onto the entire team is super good, and make sure that you try and aim the center at them. But yeah, the biggest part of Ziggs that's very different from playing the mid lane is really in laning phase, how you're playing this dynamic, and the fact that you actually counter most things, which is really freaking cool. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe down below to join into our awesome community. And lastly, if you want to hang out with me live, go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. But that is going to be it for this one. As always, stay awesome, have fun, and take it easy, guys.